Welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. I'm your host, Patrick Vallejos. We will be opening up the phone lines in probably about 30 minutes. So if anybody's calling in now, feel free to call right back or hang tight backstage. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. I'm your host, Patrick Vallejos, broadcasting to the world live from Phoenix, Arizona. Hope you guys are all having a great day. Welcome to the Sleuth Crew check-in. We'll go over breaking news, some high-profile cases that have been in the news recently, updates on the channel, and open discussion. So welcome in Hiawatha, Kelly, Jill, Silas Stingy, Julian, Christine, Frank Meister, V. Marie. Happy Sunday to everybody. Robin B., what is up? So I think the top story we're going to talk about will be Caleb Harris. We'll save that more towards the end. If there's anything you guys want to discuss or anything that you want to add to any of the stories that are presented here during the live stream, we can follow up on those in real time. If you want to shoot me an email about anything interesting going on or anything that you might think is appropriate for today's stream, shoot me an email, sleuthintuition@gmail.com. Nice. I had my coffee. Today we were scheduled to go out and get some footage and do some filming and audio and a lot of recording for the Benjamin Anderson case. But after an extensive conversation with his best pal, Daniel, I come to the conclusion that my timeline was not accurate. And I'm taking this project extremely serious. Probably be my first real quality documentary. And the writing behind it just wasn't up to par. My timeline was off, and I haven't landed what I'm being told is an impossible interview with the lead investigator. So when somebody tells me that I can't get an interview, you know what I got to do, right? Got to get that interview. So we'll see if we can do that. And I didn't want to force it. I hadn't gotten a whole lot of sleep. We got hit with a surprise thunderstorm last night. So whenever we get storms like that, all the animals in the home They have to come upstairs, they have to lay by the door, do all this whining, and yeah, I just didn't get any sleep either. So I didn't want to force it, just cuz I had all my gear packed up and everything mapped out fairly well. I did not want to force it, which is something I would usually do. I would say, "Well, it is what it is," and then just take off. But I rescheduled it for this Sunday, so hopefully I can. And also the dump site for Ben, where they found his body burned. I was off by almost a quarter of a mile, but thankfully I got the coordinates, pinpointed it. So I just really was not ready. I wasn't ready to tell the story the way it needs to be, and I didn't want to do all that work just to half-ass it. So we can go over some of the breaking news here in the last few days, all across the United States of America involving true crime. Good to see you, V. Ruckus, what's up? Caught a little bit of you, Ruckus, hanging out over at with Dan. So I'll probably check that out here in a little bit. Right, Hiawatha? I have my ways. So what's up, Road Dog? Welcome in. Good to see you again. Okay. So the image you're looking at right here is of a man. Police asked for help finding this man who was accused of sexually battering two girls in Long Beach on July 18th, 2024. So take a good look at him. He has what I like to call a very punchable face. Yeah, see, I was up in the morning. I was like, okay, it's judgment time. And usually, I have a bad habit of just forcing myself. And I'm not going to do that. I think Ben needs his story told the right way, properly. Good to see you, Jill. Yeah, and that stupid haircut. So I have a handful of stories I want to go over, and we can discuss them as we move along. This might be the only article I have. Yeah, something was off, V. Something was off. And after speaking with Daniel and another friend of Benjamin's and a local reporter who has been covering the case, she's locally famous, right? A news reporter. They all told me that um, the lead detective will not talk to the media. And I said, well, technically, I don't consider myself media. We're alternative media. There's a difference. And a lot of things have changed. A lot of questions I want to ask him about these other murders. You guys, if you watched my live stream on the Phoenix serial killer about a local gang who was committing murders for notoriety, I think once I let them know that I plan to at least talk about that, I think he might be willing to have a little sit down with me. And at the very least, I'll request a media release from him. Good to see you, Brett. Okay, so hours after asking for help finding him on Friday afternoon, police arrested a man accused of twice following girls off the bus in Long Beach and touching them inappropriately. Police said the man sexually battered the first girl around 10:15 a.m. Thursday near Carson Street and Atlantic Avenue. She was on a bus when the man approached her, and when she left the bus, he proceeded to sexually batter her. After a brief exchange, police said in a news release. About 40 minutes later, another girl was on a bus near Artesia Boulevard and Atlantic Avenue when the same man approached her, police said. When she also got off the bus, the suspect followed her and proceeded to sexually batter her, police said. Police identified the suspect as George Marquez, a 21-year-old homeless man. Officers booked him into Long Beach jail on suspicion of attempted rape, penetration with a foreign object, and 2 warrants for terrorizing, causing fear, and battery. Police said it was set at $242,000. This article was by Jeremiah Dobrik, manager and editor of the Long Beach Post. And there's the piece of shit right there. Yeah, ride the public transit system, they said. There's a reason people don't take the bus or the L train or the subway, because you have people throwing people onto the subway tracks. You have people getting robbed, raped, and there's no police in sight. It's better for the environment, they say. For what environment? It's not better for the average person's environment. I remember when I was younger, I had my license suspended for speeding tickets. I think I was about 20 years old. I didn't have my shit together. I didn't care because I lived in the middle of a big city. Everything I needed was in walking distance. I worked right next door to the apartment I was living in. But I got a job offer from a friend of mine, and I had to take the bus about an hour into downtown Phoenix. So I had to switch 3 buses, and along that journey, we lost a bus driver who was arrested. 2 people were assaulted, and I was threatened. All within about an hour and 20 minutes. So my bus driver got into a fight with some gang members, beat the shit out of this guy. He got arrested. We had to wait for a new bus driver to come on board. And then when the new bus driver came on and I switched over, all hell broke loose. The bus was filled with what appeared to be gang members, homeless folks, drug addicts, and maybe 2 or 3 normal people. So I don't recommend it. I really don't. If you want to encounter a lot of bad people, yeah, take the bus. Go ride the bus all day long and see what happens. Good luck. Try to convince me that that dude following all these people and sexually assaulting them isn't capable or responsible for past murders. You can't convince me that. Okay, let's go through some of these headlines just so you kind of get an idea what to expect today. Baby hurt in Philadelphia shooting that was captured on film over $100 debt. We're going to talk about updates on Caleb Harris. We're going to save his story for the end because we're going to spend the majority of the time talking about that. Man accused of murdering his family charged for the third time. So this is kind of like a worst case scenario. They find him incompetent. He goes to a hospital. They release him. The day he's released, they rearrest him. He goes to jail. He's reevaluated. He's deemed incompetent. He's released by the hospital and rearrested. This would be the third time this happened in this case. Reminds me a little bit of the Delphi case and how terrifying it would be to see, let's say, a Richard Allen be released, not because he's innocent, but because he's deemed incompetent. Now they know this person is guilty. They just don't know if he's insane. Another story we're going to look at: a man accused of robbing a couple and sexually assaulting a woman at gunpoint. Also, we're going to look at a New Roads police officer arrested for rape of a child, I think 12 years old. And the news refusing to post his image. I couldn't find any image of this gentleman. I had to go to an alternative media source who was on scene and snapped a photo of him being arrested and taken out of his home. Yeah, what the fuck is right? Good to see you, D. What's up? Beth, welcome in. I hope you guys are having a great day today. Let me organize this group here for a second. Let's see. Okay, that's a little better. All right, let's start here.
In Humboldt, Tennessee, where a 12-year-old girl is accused of suffocating her 8-year-old cousin with bedding. Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Greg Hurst.
I'm Stephanie Skurlock. The district attorney for Gibson County, Frederick Agee, confirms this heartbreaking news, which happened Monday. It happened in Humboldt, about 2 hours northeast of Memphis. Investigators say they received surveillance video from a home security camera capturing the killing. The video shows the 12-year-old girl using the bedding to suffocate her 8-year-old cousin while she was asleep on the top bunk of the beds they shared. Afterwards, we're told the girl cleaned up the victim and repositioned her body.
Did you guys hear that? You have a 12-year-old who committed a murder, staged the crime scene. 12 years old.
Humboldt police have filed a petition of delinquency charging the tween with first-degree murder and tampering with evidence. District Attorney Agee's office is petitioning juvenile judge Mark Johnson to transfer the delinquent child to circuit court to be tried as an adult. Neither girl lived in Humboldt. They were just visiting family members. We will continue.
Guarantee they're going to find out that This is psychopathy. 100%. Good to see you, Cheeks. Welcome in. So you have a 12-year-old girl who strangled. So I'm assuming she was on the bottom bunk, yanking down the blanket, put the blanket over her face, and then pulling it down from below until she died. And then once she passed, she didn't realize that she was being filmed the entire time. They had cameras throughout the house. She decided to stage the crime scene, clean things up, and make it look like it was an accident or that she passed away in her sleep. If it wasn't for that video, I mean, who knows? Maybe it could have been deemed an accident. And how many accidents across this planet were actual murders? And we get to the Caleb Harris story. We're going to listen to one of the lead investigators, and he's going to say something that is very disgusting to me. And one of the main reasons we do what we do here on my channel. And we'll get to that. That'll be the moral of today's live stream. So stay tuned. Yeah, V, 12 years old, staging a crime scene. After she planned it. This wasn't just a spur of the moment. She had been planning it. Yep, alternative media. We're taking over. Good to see you, Boston. You're good. Brad, how you doing? What are you up to today? Hopefully I'm not slowing down your grind. Hiawatha says, it seems to me that the criminal behavior is most times generational. Children typically learn what they've seen, in my opinion. In some cases, it's just psychopathy, 100%. You know, these people, they don't have a conscience. They don't have sympathy. They have superficial charm, and that's it. That's all they have. And a lot of these folks learn at a young age to hide. They say, okay, you know, they're sitting on the playground and they're doing really odd things like trying to slice open a pet cat or something. And that's when they get told what you're doing is wrong. They start to learn that they're not normal. They start to look at people like they're humans and they're not. There's something separate from humans. They don't understand why everybody's so emotional. You know, why do they need a reason for everything? You know, why are you doing what you're doing? They don't have any of that. They just kind of learn the patterns of regular people. And they don't look at themselves as normal people, almost like an alien that's been dropped off on the planet Earth. Like, I don't know why you have sympathy. You know, I don't know why you think what I'm doing is wrong. I don't. They're dead and I'm still alive. That's it. It's that simple for them. They might make up a story or a lie, but it's all superficial. Oh, they were a prostitute or they were a drug dealer. You know, they were this, they were that. But really, that's just something they say once they've gotten caught. Because they know normal people need a reason to do things, right? What's up, CJK? What's up, Cryptex? How you doing? Yeah, welcome in. Good to see you, Patricia. Hope you're enjoying your Sunday. She died. Yeah, she passed away. Her 12-year-old cousin killed her over an iPhone. Boston. You can't even get on the bus. What the hell? How are they supposed to get to work? Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, they mask it. You know, they learn at a young age that they need to hide this behavior. Like, oh, I'm curious, what's inside this cat? Let me strangle it and slice it open. Why did you do it? I don't know. I was curious. You all seem so concerned about the cat. I don't know why. I wanted to see what was inside the cat. Usually starts with animals. Yeah, lizard brains. And we all go through this weird process, you know, when we're starting to form our arms and our limbs in our mother's womb. There's a moment of reptilian throughout that process, and I wonder if some just don't make it out of that. Hi, Watha. I've also noticed the amount of childhood vaccination has increased 300% since I was a child. Could that have something to do with this newfound psychopathy we're seeing in today's world? I don't know if it's newfound or we're just learning more about it, but the type of psychopathy I'm talking about has been around for a long time. And I'm sure it's what drives most serial killers. You know, why'd you kill those people? I don't know. They were chosen to die. Well, what about these people? Well, they were in the way. I couldn't leave a witness. Are you sad about what you did? No, not at all. And sometimes when they retell the story of their murders, they get all excited. Like a kid in a candy store. Like Tommy Boy, remember he talks about his pet? My little pet. Oh, I love you, little pet. And then they just crush it. Hey, Sensei, good to see you. So far, so good. Stingy, our Scottish government has given free bus travel to all the under 18-year-olds, leading to gangs of youth terrorizing folks on the buses. Yeah, so I think throughout today's live stream, I'm going to keep playing this. Some of you guys might not know what it means or what I'm trying to say.
$20 in quarters, please. $20 in quarters, please.
So hopefully you'll get the gist of that. Boston says a man in Indy, big on helping Indy youth to stop gun violence, kind-hearted man was killed 2 days ago at a gas station for no reason, just shot and violently killed. Everything he was trying to stop. Yep. Kind of reminds me of the Stevenson case. Remember, he was a preacher, and he would preach to truckers and people who were suffering from drug addiction. He didn't turn anybody away. And investigators thought for a long time that one of the people in his congregation committed the murders. That's the hard part. Hey, Miss Thang, what's up? All right, I'll catch you in the replay comments. Let me know what you think. 20 and quarters will mess your head up. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't think children are getting enough discipline. I can't put my finger on it. It's all by design, but when it comes to psychopathy, it's like you just don't know. There's signs, but when you're a mother, a father, a brother, a sister, you kind of explain it. You try to explain it away. It's not real, right? So let's say you catch your sister or your brother mutilating, the family pet. It's like you can't grasp it. Like, why would this person do that? Don't do that. Look at the pain you cause the family. Like, what are you doing? To a 10-year-old child, he's like, I don't know. I don't know why you guys are all upset. I don't know why you guys are all crying. I don't know why you're mad at me. And then when they realize that they're different, that's when they start looking into serial killers and they start finding that all interesting. Like Rex Heuermann, and we see that in his planning documents and him reaching out to convicted serial killers. And then they say, well, that's what I can be. That's who I am. I'm like them. I'm like Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm like Ted Bundy, Ed Gein, the Hillside Strangler, the Green River, all of it. That's what I can do with my life. I'll be a serial killer. Those people understand me. I'm like them. I'm not like you. I'm like them. Sensei, saw a police video yesterday about a little boy who was 12, killed his little brother. His mom was 11 when she had him. Yikes. And his stepdad killed himself in front of the kids. So sad. Sounds like a Dexter. The plot of the Dexter series. Brad says, or think about your child. What if you saw your child doing that? Or like Richard Allen, if your child saw you doing weird shit. Yeah, sometimes your mind wants to protect you from the truth. It's easier to look away. And when you think about the Delphi case, anybody who can kill 2 young girls that way in the middle of the days, they got to be out of their mind. There had to be signs. Yeah, I wonder. V says, this may be an unpopular opinion, but the internet and lack of attention from parents as to what their kids are looking at, porn at an early age, is dangerous. And that's a fact. I agree with that. We are living in a hyper sexualized technological nightmare. It seems like every day it's sped up times 100. Tomorrow will be 100 times worse than it was today. You may not believe in evil, but it believes in you. Yeah, what scares me about that, Sensei, is they've had so much time in prison to figure out if they are gonna commit more murders, what to do and what not to do, and how to get away with it. And that's what scares me about cases like, Caleb Harris, you know? They can't really determine whether or not it was a murder or what. And if you're a serial killer, you're gonna take that into consideration. What is it, the smiley face killings? Where they try to make it look like an accident? So I wonder how many of these accidental, and I'm saying that in quotation marks, accidental deaths were actually murders made to look that way. But also, there's a part of us, most serial killers, where they want the notoriety. You know, they don't like people getting credit for their work or not getting credit at all. So that would tell us if there were killers out there doing that, that would tell us that they may not be that narcissistic, and not all of them are, but the majority that I've seen are. Once they're caught, they want to talk about it. It's, they haven't had anybody to discuss this with, but now that they're caught, they get all excited and they want to explain all the details. They start talking all fast. It's like, dude, calm down, slow down, tell me everything that happened. They're like, oh, okay. They started reliving it, and that's why they take those trophies, because it's exciting to them. Crazy kids, Brad. I don't understand that either, Boston. I just don't get it. Oh, are you 18? Oh, yeah, sure. Of course I'm 18. I'm not 10 years old on a elementary school playground with my first cell phone looking at Pornhub. I agree with that, Hiawatha. I don't think pedophiles, serial killers should ever be considered for release back into society, especially people who have been deemed psychotic. A brother killed another brother. It's like the killer didn't even know it was bad to kill. They don't care. Yeah, they don't care. They don't feel bad. They don't feel good. It's like walking through the woods, you see a stick kind of poking out. You just reach out and grab it and snap it. Why'd you do it? I don't know. It was just sticking there. I'm bored. Grabbed it and broke it. That's how a lot of these folks feel about murder. Why'd you do it? I don't know. Did they make you mad? No, not at all. Well, why did you target them? Well, I targeted these specific individuals because they're weak or they're small or they seem like an easy target. They don't want to put up a fight with anybody. Yep. It's indifferent is a good word. All right, let's go to this quick report. New Roads police officer arrested for rape of a child.
First at 10, a New Roads police officer has been arrested. Officer Kedrion Williams is.
Notice they don't have his mugshot. That pisses me off.
Being charged with first-degree rape of a minor under the age of 13. Williams is also charged with indecent behavior with a juvenile and pornography involving a juvenile.
Oh, pornography involving a juvenile. What do we refer to that as here? Right? We don't call it pornography involving a child. It's called child porn.
Now, we have reached out to the New Roads Police Chief, Cedric Epps, to find out if Williams is still employed. We have not heard back yet. The Point Competent Parish.
Yeah, they don't have his mugshot, but thankfully there is an alternative media reporter by a channel called Unfiltered with Kieran, Kiran, who snapped this shot of the piece of shit right there. Serve, protect, and molest is his credo. Yeah, that's scary, Hiawatha. I know in some states, if you're charged as a child for a brutal murder and you're proven to be clinically insane, once you become an adult and you're ready to be released, instead of being released, what they do is they'll try you again. They'll try you for the crime again after evaluating you. So you can be, even though you only got sentenced till you were like 21, at the age of 21 in some states, they'll retry you for the crime at that age to see if you're still crazy, really. And you could still receive a life sentence. So I'm glad that is happening in some cases. And these killers will get on the stand, right? When they're a child, like a 12-year-old or 13-year-old boy, they don't cry. They're telling the truth. Like, no, I'm not sorry. I don't know why I did it. I picked them because they were weak. And then now they're in court on the stand at age 21 and they're fake crying, right? Oh, I feel bad for what I did. They learn what is referred to as superficial charm. You know, oh, here, let me hold that door for you so that I can stab you in the back. Oh, that's very kind of you. Thanks for holding the door, sir. Or ma'am. I'm a big fan of castration for these sexual sadists. Castration. You want to motivate them, that'll do it. And even if it doesn't motivate them, it'll help in the future. Oh, that's good. I'll check it out. Yeah, you tell me how a 13-year-old girl is going to fight this man off. He's at least 6'4". He's about as wide as both those women put together. His one leg is the size of both of her legs. Yeah, they need to bring that back. It's inhumane. Okay. Hurting a 13-year-old girl isn't inhumane. You ruined their entire life. You've ruined their family's lives. You gave an entire family PTSD. And that trauma will be passed down through their DNA for generations, if not their entire bloodline. Yeah, he's about the same size as the dude. Well, the dude from Green Mile, they made him look bigger. They made him look this size. This guy's like really that big. Brad says, I figured out a while ago I would not want porn on anything I own if I died, and I am old and out of touch. But apparently, porn has melancholy. What is that? I agree. So I give kudos to all you men out there who have been able to get rid of porn, take it out of your life. That and things like masturbation and that stuff. Trust me, you'll be happier. I promise you. The bad man should never get mental health care. It would not ever change him in any way and others like him. Yeah, and I don't know if it's designed to change. I think it's more to learn. The more we can learn, the more proactive we can become. Psychologists today say there are signs of psychopathy, red flags. Yeah, V, and I'm not trying to kink shame anybody. I mean, it's just time to call it the way it is, right? It's not healthy for you. V says, I'm not prude, but raising a son and learning these cases has changed how I handle discussions with him, trying to steer him right without being the weird mom. Yeah, and it's hard. And that's one of the scariest parts of all these stories because a lot of times things seem normal. You know, that your child is going to school, getting good grades, they're not acting up at home, they're not socially awkward. And then, boom, they commit a murder or a sexual assault, or they commit self harm, go missing, and there's no explanation. So, once again, here's an example of why you can't trust anybody. A man that you would come running to if somebody was threatening to assault you is the bad man in this case. %, Brad. Sensei says there's so much porn addiction out there that people think that porn is what you do in an intimate relationship, using it as a reference point. No. Yeah, they don't show the parts where, you know, they cut scenes and the man is actually a homosexual and they got to get him all riled up again. Like, they don't show the reality of it. You know what I mean? They don't show the pain, you know, that a lot of these porn stars are going through in their life. They don't show any of that. That's what it was for me, Hiawatha, when I was a kid. We used to be surrounded by deserts, and out in the desert, we'd every once in a while find a page out of a nudie magazine, and we would treat it like gold. Kristen says, I was good friends with a doctor, advanced criminal behavior. I could talk to him about anything, and he would explain it so easy. He was a powerful person. Hustler, playboy. I mean, and it's hard too as a kid, you know, you're walking with your dad. He's buying us drinks and paying for his gas. And then right behind the cashier's head, there's all these porno magazines. Just seems normal. You're like, oh, when I grow up, I guess I can get my hands on that. once I'm 18, just like those cigarettes and that alcohol back there. I disagree, RC99. And like I said, I'm not here to judge anybody or kink shame, as they call it. But I'm telling you right now, it's not good for you. Welcome in, Cattywampus. You're addicted, and it's got to get weirder. Yeah, that reminds me of Ted Bundy. He could be lying, but he definitely used that as an excuse. Like it had to get more violent and more violent. And that, I don't believe a word out of Ted Bundy's mouth. He's smart enough to come up with a good excuse. Okay, here's a very tragic story. Baby hurt in Philadelphia shooting that was captured on CCTV.
In Philadelphia's Holmesburg neighborhood, a 7-month-old is in the hospital after being shot in the leg. Skyfox over the 4000 block of Meridian Street right around 7:30 tonight.
Our Shawnette Wilson live at Philly Police Headquarters. And Shawnette, what are police telling you?
Well, horrible thing that has happened here tonight. Police telling us that the parents of that child, it took them an hour after the shooting to locate the parents, who they say were not at the hospital with that child. Meanwhile, neighbors tell me that they did hear the father screaming that the infant had been shot, and then another neighbor stepped in to help.
So that 7-month-old boy is shot in the leg, the thigh.
Philadelphia police continue investigating the moments before shooting that left an infant in the hospital. The baby boy is in stable condition.
We know the shooting took place in the 4000 block of Meridian. On the sidewalk, we found 2 spent shell casings from a semi-automatic weapon.
The shooting happened on Meridian Street near Ron in Holmesburg just before 6 o'clock this evening. Drink bottles and other debris remain where investigators say a mother and father were sitting on the front lawn of a home with their baby when someone walked up and fired at them. Police say it's captured on security cameras on the block.
You can see what appears to be a male, possibly a female. Long hair, possibly
I think it's a female.
dreadlocks, wearing a dark t-shirt and light blue jeans, fires shot at the...
I think that's a woman. That's my opinion.
in the direction of the mother and the father.
Yeah, it's definitely a female.
Police say when they arrived, a neighbor had taken the infant to Nazareth Hospital, who was then transferred to Jefferson Torresdale, which is a trauma hospital. Police say the parents weren't at either hospital, only the resident. They say they located the parents later, a few blocks away from the shooting scene, uninjured.
It took us about an hour to locate the mother and the father, who we have now.
Police also say...
So your baby gets shot, and you just, once the ambulance shows up and takes the baby away, you're like, okay, they have the baby now. I don't need to worry about it. How fucked up is that?
The parents don't live on Meridian, and residents say they don't know them.
It appears that the shooter was firing in the direction of mother and father.
Oh, this one kind of left me speechless. All around. Yeah, Cheeks, it looks like a woman to me. I agree with you. Sensei says, I'd say a woman. Hey, the Red Queen, what's up? Hey, let me know what you think in the comment section. The parents went away because they know they were shot at. That's crazy. Like, you're not even going to go to the hospital, see if your baby's alive? Getting shot in the leg is no joke. You know, you got major arteries running down your leg, running all through your body, really. Yeah, that's true. Cheek says because they know why they were shot at. This was not random. Yeah, I don't know if they aimed at the kid. They could have. I mean, there obviously is a baby right there. So if you're going to shoot in that direction, you definitely don't have a concern. Nope, no Benny Hill yet. Oh, and I forgot to show you guys the photos of the young girl that was killed by her 12-year-old cousin, Demiria Hollingsworth. Tell me that's not adorable. Look how little she is, or how little she was. Honor roll. Tell me how you would prevent that. Guarantee she was excited to have her cousin hanging out, staying the night. Oh, Patricia said apparently the parents had warrants out for them. I don't know if that would stop me. Oh, I can't go to the hospital to see my baby. I have a warrant out for my arrest. Look at that smile. I just don't know how you would prevent something like this. I don't get it. You can't hang out with your cousin because she's a little bit weird. When would that ever happen? I just don't think you would ever see something like this, happening. There's no way you can look into the future and say, "Oh, there's a good chance that this will happen." Never in your wildest dreams or nightmares. Now, here's a terrifying case. Man accused of robbing a couple and raping a woman at gunpoint. And this is all within the last
Gunpoint. Shocking details tonight as a couple recovers following a terrifying ordeal tonight. 41-year-old Corey Rayford is charged in the crime. Here's WREG's Shay Arthur with the latest on this investigation.
A dark, rainy day off Chuck Avenue in Oak Haven. It's calm and quiet, much different from the situation a couple tells police they went through Monday night. A woman told officers she was sitting in a car with her boyfriend around 11:30 at night when there was a knock on the window. She thought maybe it was a security guard because they were in a school park after hours. But the man, now identified as Corey Rayford, was far from a security guard. The woman says he told them, "Give me what you got." The couple handed over $600, but that wasn't enough for Rayford. She says he became angry and pulled a gun on them, forcing the boyfriend out of the car, telling him to get on his knees and face the opposite direction. The woman says Rayford then raped her at gunpoint. The couple claims Rayford then told them if they followed him out of the park, he would kill both of them. The next day, the woman spotted Rayford in the neighborhood while driving. She followed him and called police, who were able to make an arrest. We checked. Rayford has been arrested multiple times in the past, but these latest charges appear to be the most violent. But in 2006, records show he resisted being arrested and struggled with officers, forcing them to use a chemical agent on him. In that case, he was also found to be in unlawful possession of a gun. For your news leader, Shay Arthur, WREG.
Worst nightmare right there. And what's sad is most men would have died right then and there, trying to do what's right. Then I know some men are listening. Oh, I would have killed that son of a bitch. You probably would have been dead. But I know some men aren't going to just sit there while their woman is being attacked by a man. What do you do?
$20 in quarters, please.
That's not good advice either. But that's how that story made me feel. Oh, that's tough, V. Okay, because we are running out of time. We're on hour number 2. Let's go over to the tragic story of Caleb Harris. I'll try to do my best to start at the beginning.
Continued search for missing Texas A&M University Corpus Christi student Caleb Harris. It's now been 1 week since the 21-year-old was last seen or heard from.
And ever since, his family has been working closely with authorities and private groups in the search efforts.
Here's what we know. Caleb was last seen at his off-campus apartment late Monday night. Later, a Snapchat ping reported his last location at his apartment at 2:45 a.m. Monday after he let his dog out. By 3 a.m., his phone was dead and his wallet and keys were still at his apartment.
Authorities began searching for Caleb last Wednesday, and while his dad...
And do you guys know, did they find his dog? I don't know a whole lot about this case. Do you know if they found his dog or not? Let me know in the chat.
Randy Harris says there were no official searches today for the missing 21-year-old. 3 News has learned that members of the Texas A&M Corpus Christi community did organize a search, turning now to the Oso Bay area.
And that is where we have our Bill Churchwell joining us live from tonight. So, Bill, what have you been seeing?
And volunteers have really been focusing today on the search for Caleb Harris here in the Flower Bluff area near Oso Bay, and then also the Laguna Madre here behind us. We're over by
Thank you, Sensei.
Pier, where volunteers were searching wooded areas, the brush. We came across a homeless encampment at one point, but nothing so far. I want to bring in Nina Glass, and you are with Search and Rescue out of San Antonio.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about, you've been here for quite some time now, helping out with this search. What is your focus today?
Today, our focus is actually on out of the way areas that people wouldn't think about, just to make sure we just have to cover all of our bases. We've done a 3-mile radius of his apartment, so we're fanning out from there.
You've really been relying on the public in this effort. Talk about the resources involved.
Yes, I mean, we are a search and rescue group. We are out of San Antonio, so we put the plea out there to have the local Corpus Christi people come and help us with this search, and they've been great.
And they've been giving you tips as far as, well, maybe look in this area or maybe look in that area.
Yes, absolutely. That's where we're getting a lot of our information from at this point, is from the locals in the area.
And you just mentioned a little while ago that you might be getting some ATVs or even horses.
Yes. We have a group coming out that has ATVs, dirt bikes, and horses.
Very good. Talk about just the importance of you wanting to come out here to help.
We have 2 investigators on our team that live here. They sent me the information about Caleb Harris, and we called down here to help everybody out.
Glass, thank you so much for your time. And they're going to be searching until dark, but they're going to be here several more days. Reporting live on Bill.
So that's kind of how the story was unfolding.
Our top story at 6, the cause of college student Caleb Harris's death will be difficult to determine, according to Corpus Christi police. The New Braunfels native was attending school in Corpus Christi when he disappeared. Police confirmed the remains found last month are Caleb's. KENS 5's Mike Jimenez spoke with the Corpus Christi Police Department today about the investigation.
The results of a DNA test confirming the worst. The body of Caleb Harris, who had been missing for months in Corpus Christi, found in a wastewater well.
Through the lens of the criminal justice system, it provides you probabilities, and that's obviously more probability than any other person on the planet several times over.
Corpus Christi Police Deputy Chief Billy Breedlove speaking today about the investigation, which remains active. Harris' remains were found on June 24th in a wastewater collection well, not far from his apartment, where he was last seen on March 4th. Now, one of the biggest questions remaining is how did he get there?
Still probably the part of the investigation that will remain under investigation.
Police say on April 18th, they did receive a tip about a manhole cover missing in a farm field 600 feet away from Caleb's apartment. After draining the well, nothing was found. But that would change in late June when there was a jam in the well's lift pump, believed to be caused by a human bone.
The likely scenario was that those remains were in a...
See, the part that bothered me is, don't you think when they drain the water, whatever's in the water is going to go down the drain? They should have dropped somebody in like scuba gear or something down there before they touched that water, in my opinion.
Yeah, a 15-inch sewage pipe, and the rain from Tropical Storm Alberto, as it was just a couple of days before that discovery, pushed those remains through the system and ended up in that location.
Investigators still don't have a cause or manner of death, and police say that's likely to remain undetermined. And the lack of signs of foul play could be that the body was just too decomposed.
It was pretty much just skeletal remains for the most part.
Police say the case will remain active, but some answers may never come for the Harris.
Yeah, that just didn't make sense to me. Like, wouldn't you think you would search that water first? I mean, what if you're flushing evidence down this pipe? They should have sent scuba divers down there first thing before they drained that water. You know, hindsight is 20/20, but that's my input. Sounds like someone killed and dumped him. But why was the cover still off? If somebody wanted to dump a body, they would cover the hole back up. Yeah, what I'm thinking is he accidentally fell in there, maybe drowned in the little bit of water that was there, maybe knocked himself out once he hit the ground. And then when they drained it, they drained him also. So let's go ahead and listen to the latest on Caleb, and then we'll go ahead and finish out the live stream with the discussion on what you guys think happened. I have everything pretty much mapped out. We can talk about the whole wastewater system there in Corpus Christi as well. This is about 14 minutes long. Interview with Chief Todd.
For speaking with us on this matter. You know, with the preliminary autopsy showing no obvious signs of homicide, and since the DNA report has come back with most likely match, is this case over?
No, it's not over. It's still an open investigation on our part. At this point, we're waiting for the remains to be returned to the medical examiner and for him to issue his final autopsy report.
You know, at one point in the investigation, y'all were looking at whether or not foul play may have been involved. Is that still the case?
We have not been able to prove one way or the other whether foul play was involved, but we have exhausted a tremendous amount of investigative effort and time. We followed up on a tremendous amount of leads in the area, and our investigation at this point is pretty close to being concluded as far as that goes.
There were, and I'm looking over, investigators executed over 50 digital search warrants, analyzed over 1,500 gigabyte of data. Has that information been processed, and has that pointed to anything?
It has been processed. It did lead us to different individuals that we identified that were in that area at that roughly that time of that evening. So what we had early on, we mentioned that we went out shortly after he went missing, and we scoured the area looking for surveillance video. Unfortunately, because it was so foggy that night, a lot of the video was very poor quality. We did notice several vehicles moving through the area, moving up and down Ennis Jocelyn in the immediate area that evening. But because the video was so poor, we couldn't get license plates off the vehicles. In most cases, it was really hard to determine a make and a model, other than maybe a blue 4-door or white 2-door, that was, or a pickup truck. But that's where all the effort and the time and the investigation went in as far as the digital search warrants. So what we did is our investigators began issuing search warrants for cell tower data, all the cell towers in the area. We did a gosh, I can't think of the name of it.
Geofencing,
anyway,
buddy.
We did cell tower down. Use that information to identify what we believed were the drivers of these vehicles moving through the area. We did identify them, and we interviewed them, and we were at the point when the remains were found in the lift station. We had pretty much gotten to the end of that investigation, and we had it hadn't bore the fruit that we thought it would. Our initial suspicion was that Caleb got in a vehicle with somebody and left the area, and that was kind of what we were acting on. That was our where we were going.
Right. Investigators like to say we don't make assumptions, we don't do this, we don't do that, but really that's all they do.
On with the investigation. But once we got all that information back, we identified these individuals that were in the area. We went out, our investigators interviewed them, and we were, based on the investigation, we were able to determine that they had no connection to Caleb. We went through his digital data, through his laptop, through his social media. We even were able to clone his phone as well. We never did find his cell phone, but what our investigators did, our forensic
Yeah, well, maybe you shouldn't have let all that water out the way that you did without searching it first.
computer people who did a tremendous job, they basically cloned his phone, which is something that was quite unusual. And still, they were unable to establish any connection between Caleb and any of the people that had gone through that area at that time, at that night.
Of course, we were talking earlier, but the big question is how did Caleb end up at the wastewater lift station? And that's a question that we might not ever know.
That's certainly a possibility. It's we don't know for beyond any doubt of how that happened or what actually happened to him. We haven't been able to find any evidence that clearly suggests that he was met with foul play, that there was a homicide involved. Because of the state of the remains, it was difficult we couldn't even make the medical examiner here couldn't make an identification and had to send it off to the University of North Texas for DNA analysis. But what has been learned was there's no obvious signs of trauma to what remains are available. There's no gunshot wounds. There's no obvious knife wounds or hatchet wounds or anything like that that would tell us, yes, he was murdered. At the same time, there's nothing, because there wasn't enough of the remains there, we can't say beyond a doubt that he wasn't murdered.
If this was
The future of your business.
Sorry about that. If this was somehow an accident, is there still an investigation that goes into how it happened, or how it ended, or how he ended up there at the lift station, or if it's determined to be an accident somehow?
Well, and like I said, we're continuing. The investigation's not over.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick, Beth. Beth says, my only doubt is it being accidental is his posting to meet someone at the bay. Right? And then he snapped that photo of the bridge. The thing that bothers me is if you're a serial killer or a killer and you're thinking about a way to dispose of your victims, I think the way that you can get away with it, get them extremely inebriated, leave them in a large pool of water, and just hold them down. You don't have to leave ligature marks or strangulation marks. Just hold them underwater. They're going to be too drunk to do anything about it. And a lot of people are found that way. And that's the whole theory behind the smiley face murders. These people are found in a large bodies of water after being extremely inebriated, maybe some drug use. But really, all you would have to do is force somebody to get completely drunk out of their mind, almost to the point, if not at the point of alcohol poisoning, take them to a large body of water and hold them down. That's all you need to do to fool these police officers. That's it. Doesn't take a genius.
But at this point, we don't have any clear evidence of exactly how he ended up in that lift station. We do, we can say that it is a very secure facility there. There's a chain link fence around the facility. It's locked with a padlock. For you to get into that facility, you have to pass through that gate. Once you get into that, inside the gate, there's another lock on the building, and the actual wet well where the remains were found is covered with a steel grate that also has a padlock on it. So it wouldn't be easy for anybody to intentionally dispose of the remains in that manner.
You were talking about how the investigation is almost complete. What are the next steps?
Right now, the number one step is to wait and see what the medical examiner rules. He hasn't made a final ruling yet. We met with him earlier today and kind of shared everything that we have learned, all our information, and we'll wait to see what he rules on this. The manner of death and the cause of death.
This was one of those investigations, whether you knew Caleb or not. People were invested. People were impacted by what happened.
This part pisses me off, guys.
I think mostly because we don't know what happened to Caleb. And so, what is your message, of course, to the countless number of people who helped with the searches that happened? And people who just prayed for his family. What would your message be to the community tonight?
Our number one, our hearts and thoughts and prayers go out to the family. This is not, very tragic ending to it. It's not the ending that we had hoped for. Certainly it wasn't the ending the family hoped for. So they're an incredible family. Mr. Harris and his family are incredibly strong, have a very strong faith. And I think that shone through from the very beginning. But as far as the volunteers, I've never seen anything like it. Like I said, it really makes me proud of the community that I serve, that we have that type of community, that people are willing to go out there and walk through the heavy brush and the mud and the drainage ditches and all over, the people that searched, the people that made donations, food and drinks for the searchers, the people that prayed, the people that had prayer vigils. Just, it's an incredible reflection on our community. And then, of course, the college, the volunteers out there, and then, of course, Mr. and Mrs. Harris's community up in New Braunfels. It's just it's sad to see what happened, but if there's anything positive that comes out of it is just the fact how many people, like you said, were very invested in it. People that really, I'm sure, are taking it very hard, the outcome, beyond the family. And hopefully they'll be able to support the family and continue that as the days go by.
I believe you answered all my questions there.
Mhm.
Has the family, I know there's probably been some communication with the family.
Mhm.
Have they asked for the investigation to continue? When it's your loved one, I'm sure they want to see more.
Sure.
Results or more. It's hard to accept a conclusion.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it still is an open investigation, so we haven't closed it. We meet with Mr. Harris pretty much on a weekly basis. He comes by and we share with him as much as we can. Now that we're at the point we're able to share more with him. What we have done. Certainly, yeah. They want finality. So.
I believe that's all I have for you. Is there anything else that you feel is important to get out? Since we're here, and anything else that the public needs to be aware of?
Thank you, CJK.
This came up early on, and we talked about it. There's people that say, well, there's a huge number of missing.
Okay, this is something that we talk about all the time, guys, on my channel. This is why we created True Crime in the Morning, is because of statements like this, and this is very upsetting. Listen to what he says here.
People around here, and that there's a chance, people like to throw the word serial killer around and things like that. We've looked at the other cases early on. We immediately looked at all the other open missing person cases that we had, and pretty quickly we determined there's no connection. There's no real commonality. Each one of them had some very unique circumstances involved, and Caleb's disappearance was totally different than most of the missing person cases that we work. Like I said, generally a lot of times people have a history of disappearing, or they have a history of mental illness or drug abuse or a combination of, and those people, it's not surprising when they turn up missing.
Does that make your blood boil? That's why these cases aren't getting the attention they need, because police, just like him, they all think that way. Oh, we expected them to go missing. At some point in time, we knew they would be murdered. Let me play that back.
Commonality. Each one of them had some very unique circumstances involved, and Caleb's disappearance was totally different than most of the missing person cases that we work. Like I said, generally a lot of times people have a history of disappearing, or they have a history of mental illness or drug abuse or a combination of, and those people, it's not surprising when they turn up missing.
That's very upsetting to hear those words, because we know that to be true. We know that to be the mind frame of most of these investigators. Oh, she was a prostitute. And that's the very reason that serial killers target sex workers and people who are suffering from drug addiction, because cops like this say things like that and they truly believe it. Oh, they were bound to go missing. It's something they did to themselves. They were suffering from mental health. They shouldn't have been addicted to drugs and hanging around drug dealers and killers. It was bound to happen. Oh, they had mental health. They probably wandered off into the mountains. We expected this to happen. That's why they're not putting forth any effort. That's why a lot of these cases are never even referred to as high profile, because they're just left there, like these people have been left. I mean, I just couldn't believe he said it out loud. I'm literally shocked. Yes. Shocking. That's why we have True Crime in the Morning, because people like him do not take some cases seriously based on the victims. Oh, they have a history of drug abuse. Oh, we know them personally. You know, they get high and they wander off. Well, that person's crazy. You know, we knew eventually this would happen. We're not going to waste our man hours. We're not going to bring in the helicopters. We're not going to bring in the dogs. We're not going to push this effort because it was expected. Now, there's a reason that killers and people are targeting these folks is because they know nobody cares. So apparently this is the last little snapshot that Caleb took, and we have located that. I also have some CCTV footage, I think just before he went missing. So I think these are the apartments right across the street. I don't think these are his apartments. I think this is a little bit of ways away from where he was actually living. I could be wrong. Yeah, Boston. That was very upsetting to hear him say that. I couldn't believe he said it out loud. But that's what we say all the time. We talk about this and how these types of crimes are just swept under the rug. Oh, they're addicted to drugs. They have mental health problems. You know, last they were seen were walking out into the middle of nowhere. We knew that this would happen at some point. Eventually, their bodies will be found out there. We're not going to spend our time looking for. They don't want to say it out loud, but I think they do refer to these people as trash people. Throw something they can throw away people. And it drives me crazy. Like, you're not going to come looking for me because recently I've been having like issues with my mental health or I've become addicted to drugs. You're not going to come looking for me. You're not going to put forth 100% effort because I'm suffering from mental health or drug addiction or I'm a sex worker. It drives me crazy. Hey, what's up, farmer? Yeah, like they deserved it. They were asking for it. They had it coming. So don't expect me to put forth my effort and to provide overtime to my crew for such and such when we knew that this was coming. We get called out there all the time. It was just bound to happen. Like, fuck you, dude. That's all I have to say about that. Fuck you. Okay, so I believe the apartments where that CCTV footage is across the street, right? I wasn't sure if this was his apartments, but I thought Caleb's apartment was over here. The cottages at Corpus Christi. But I think that CCTV footage might be from over here, or he was last spotted here. That might be the confusion. But I know that the bridge in question is definitely right there. That's it. So, I mean, did he fall in the water and then end up in the wastewater system? Is that possible? But I think these were his apartments here. And that manhole should be right over here somewhere. I think that's it right there. Looks like the farmers are driving around it. You see that little patch of grass? And it looks like there is a cone and a white marker and another cone that looks like it's been smashed. So you can kind of see where the farmers have been going around it. So if this is where he lives, which I think these might be his apartments or where he was staying. I could be wrong on that. I mean, I could totally see him walking out in this field and just falling into the manhole, knocking himself unconscious. Maybe he was under the influence, and because of the storm, he could have drowned. I just don't understand why they turned the pumps on and drained the manhole, knowing that there could be evidence in there that Caleb could be right there. All you needed was somebody with a little bit of scuba gear. You probably didn't even need scuba gear, like some snorkeling gear, and go into that water. Why would you drain it knowing that valuable information can be sucked right down that tube? That shit just doesn't make sense to me. Good to see you, Pitbull Mom. Welcome in. Hope you're having a great day. Farmer, welcome in. In the 90s, Bowmaster targeted gay men because they were considered lesser than. It took a dogged PI to uncover the truth. Exactly. They won't admit it, but I think a lot of these investigative teams refer to people as throwaway people or trash people. You know, they're not going to spend the effort or the same amount of effort looking for them because they had it coming. Oh, well, if you're living a gay, promiscuous lifestyle, what did you expect to happen? Oh, they were suffering from mental health. This is the third time we've been called out here. You know, we can't organize a search team because we knew that this would happen eventually. Well, she was a prostitute and addicted to drugs. So if you're going to live that lifestyle, what else do you expect? Not at all, Farmer. And it's mostly selfish because I know that if I went missing or something, somebody's going to have something to say about me. I just want there to be a full effort. You know, if I go missing or if people I care about go missing, that attitude should not ever be brought to the table. It's you're losing the case from the beginning with that mind frame. And it's, to me, it's a nightmare scenario. Just to think you're dead and you're out in the middle of nowhere and nobody is looking for you. They're literally walking around you and nobody cares. To just lift up that old mattress in the desert. Look under these trees. Hey, Shay, good to see you. That's exactly how they talked to me when my daughter went missing. They refused to look for her or even issue a bulletin. I spent 5 months calling hundreds of morgues in 300-mile radius. Yeah, and he was thanking the community for coming out. They don't want to come out. They have to, because you're not going to do it. That's why. The community and the public at large know they have to get involved. We have to. because there's nobody there to do it. Most cases, they'll tell you, oh, we got to wait 72 hours. That's the law. Okay, well, whatever happened to the first 48 being the most important time to get shit done? Oh, no, that's the first 48 after the 72 hours. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. So they're searching far and wide when the entire time he could have been right here in the manhole. Oh, let's drain it. Okay, well, now you're not going to find him in the manhole because you just drained him and shoved him through the waste system where he would eventually be found right here. Like, what the fuck did you think was going to happen? What happened to common sense? Hey, Jerry, what's up? Yep, there's the pump station right there. There he was the entire time. And early on, there was a report that there was a woman out here. What was she doing? They said, hey, there was a woman out here in the field. And when they went to check on what she was up to, they discovered the open manhole. Okay, well, the manhole's filled with water. Let's drain it. Whose fucking idea was that? Oh, we don't know how he ended up over here in the station, in the pump station. Well, maybe because you turned on the pumps and you drained the manhole, knowing damn well that the drain was big enough for a body or a decomposing body. I would be pissed. That's all I know. I am pissed. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, Shay. Glad you got some resolution. So they wanted her PO to send somebody to come get her. She had been in jail and got into the state-of-the-art new place. In 2 days, they couldn't handle her. Yeah, it's wastewater that occasionally gets overrun with rainwater from time to time. That's true, Boston. Oh, nice. With my own ears, I've heard law enforcement say about kids shooting each other. Let them all kill each other so we don't have to deal with them. Yeah, they don't care. People don't care anymore. Yep. We all bleed the same. Sensei said, I think they really thought he had been taken somewhere else and didn't expect him to be so close to home. But why? Remember, when investigators don't want to answer any real questions, they say, we can only deal with facts and we can't assume. But yeah, that's all they do. He's literally was found across the street from his home. And I know hindsight is 2020. So you're telling me you have an open manhole directly across from his home. If you were walking down this sidewalk and decided to cross the street, that manhole is directly across the street. To me, it's common sense. Thank you, Boston. Thank you for being a warrior you are. Hey, I appreciate that. Pitbull Mom says so many people are woke and don't extend respect and common courtesies. It's shameful and unacceptable behavior. Thank you, Boston. I think it had something to do, Sensei, with the geofencing and movement of his cellular phone, is what I read earlier. I don't know if it was his account, but an account that they thought was his or Reddit that was hooking up with people, and there was activity that night. Oh, okay. Like a miscommunication. Hey, Cindy. Cheeks with a 14-month flex. I never flex, but love my crew. Thank you for that. Thank you for supporting my channel. Remember, guys, we can't do this without you, members. 100%. If it wasn't for you members, I'd be sitting in some stupid meeting right now talking about nothing important and money on the mind. How much money am I going to make this month? How many goals am I going to crush? Who's the best in the office? Me. Fuck all that. Shay says, thank you guys, but these things are why I am so passionate about some things. It's not pro or con. It's right and wrong on the parts of people in control. As a mother, you don't take that stuff lightly. It's my worst fear. Yeah, CJ, and we can't expect the government or local authorities to do certain things. Like we need to be more active as private citizens to put together organizations and things like that. We need to be more proactive. If we ever get big enough and we ever get there, that's what we're going to work towards. Cheeks, that's still my life sitting in some dumbass meeting. Well, it's going to be me too. If we don't get Trump back in that White House so that we can lower these taxes. I mean, thank God I've been saving for the majority of my life, but I can't be spending that on a YouTube channel, a struggling YouTube channel at that. So I might be right back there before you know it. But I feel your pain. She has spent 1/3 of her adult life in prison, but I didn't want her to be found in a manhole. Yeah, and I wish there was better options. I just think we could do better. All our money is just being wasted. Our tax dollars are being thrown away to things that we don't even care about, things that aren't important to us or our children or our grandparents. I mean, look at this. You got the bridge photo, you got his last sighting, where his body was located in the suspicious manhole, all within a stone's throw away. And investigators are around chasing rumors? Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't, hindsight is 2020, and I don't want to badmouth the investigators, but I mean, come on. Oh God, Cheeks, yeah. I would never, and I don't want to say anything bad about New York, because I was talking shit about Colorado, and I really didn't mean that. I don't mean that it's a trash place, but I just mean their policies and high taxes. I mean, it's unbearable. It's nice when you can save money and when you can actually afford to travel. You know, people have children, we have college funds that we have to worry about. So unless that changes, I'm not going to be able to do YouTube much longer. Well, we can always do YouTube, but can't run it like a real channel, you know. Thank you, Jerry. Thanks for that donation. Don't forget, we're going to be doing another giveaway too soon. So all you people who have been supporting me, Farmer, you're always sending me money to the Cash App, all you folks. So we'll probably be doing that the 1st of August. First week of August. Hey, Vertigo, good to see you. Kristen Robbins, did you see Shannon Gilbert? Her mom tried to keep her daughter and the other girls. Shannon's sister killed a dog and stabbed her mom like 272 times. That was so sad. Yeah, we covered that story. Very tragic. She was suffering from psychosis. So it's very scary. Yeah, Farmer, I call that the human factor. We always have to consider the human factor as a variable. Always. And that goes for the witnesses, the way reports are written, the way reports are read to the public, and the way that the reporters are reporting that information. Yeah, there's nothing really in place, CJK. Says it's touchy though. What laws help in finding missing people with mental health issues? If you find a reported missing person who's having a breakdown, what's the legal action? What legal action can be taken? In the case of Aiden Clune, his mother was extremely frustrated because even though he was a young man and barely an adult, her hands were tied. He's just a grown man who made his own decision. They didn't take any of the rest of it into consideration. So there was no action. It's hard. It's very hard. Exactly, Shay. They choose who matters. They make the decision. All right. Are we dealing with the trash person? Or are we dealing with the quality individual? You know, are these people going to make a fuss? You know, is the family going to make a fuss because certain people went missing? Are they going to bring it to the media? Well, if it's a trash person, they'll just say things like, well, we knew this was coming. Surprised this didn't happen sooner. Thank you, Jerry. That was very generous of you. Cheek says, you can talk shit about New York all you want. It's a cesspool that people think is so great, but it's really not. And politicians are more interested in lining their own pockets. Yeah, it's sad. It is sad. Make sure you guys go out and vote. I think Lacey's case was high profile because she was pregnant, close to being full term, so a sense of urgency. Yeah, they don't steal anything, Farmer. Unless you like pull it out instantly. Not to get political in any way, but if you look into New York as a state, there's really no question as to why things are the way they are. Yep, it's true. I agree with you. I got to rejoin. My card was locked for unauthorized use and haven't tracked down what I need to recover. Lost my status, though, over a year with you. No, we got you, Shay. We know. You always got a place here, regardless. Man, if I can send a faceless Corpus sub free monthly, then a real person whom I consider a friend and great broadcaster can get some too. I appreciate that. Mental health issues come in all shapes. That's true, Vertigo. Some are more advanced than others and more dangerous than others. And like we've learned, some happen from bad accidents. You can get something going on with your brain. I think it's already happened again in Corpus Christi. I'm afraid they just don't know it yet. That's possible. Shay says, I'll have to tell you how I found her sometime. Let me guess, your intuition? Pitbull says, my oldest son took me out for lunch yesterday. I told the manager and waitress to vote for Trump because he's going to do away with the tax on tips. My son was so embarrassed. Yeah, it's the little things, you know what I mean, that are important. You can't be a good parent if you're working 2 jobs. It's just too hard. Like, you're being a great person and a great parent, but how are you going to be a good parent, you know? How are you going to be there to spend time with your children when you're working 2 jobs and overtime constantly? All because the politicians decided your fate. It's disgusting. Oh, did he say that, Farmer? I didn't know that. Send that to my email. If he said that, we need to put that on blast. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it for today's live stream. We'll get out there to go cover the Ben Anderson case this weekend. I'm going to do my best to line up an interview with the lead investigator who, according to everyone, is Mr. Untouchable. So we'll see if we can land that interview. I think the timing is right. And the thing about local media is they have 2 minutes to tell a story. You can't tell a story like Ben Anderson's story in 2 minutes. It's not possible. So with all the information that was provided to me by his best friend Daniel, we're going to tell the whole story. And we're going to get it right. CJK says, I think reputation plays a part. If a person is prone to disappear and is found, then it happens again. Law enforcement won't use their resources over and over due to other cases. Yeah, there's got to be an alternative. There's got to be an alternative. And I think that's when the private sector needs to get more involved. Public-private. Yeah, that's what was funny, Farmer, when Trump first became president, they said, why is he so obsessed with his campaign promises? Like, these are just campaign promises. Like, what? So you've been telling me you Democrats have just been lying this entire time, and you just call those campaign promises? You never had intentions of keeping these promises? That was shocking. You're telling me that you have one person, one president in the history of the United States that actually intends on keeping his promises? That man has my vote. Deidra, thank you for the Cash App. I appreciate you guys. Shay says, I'm here a lot, just quiet mostly. Well, it's good to see you. Yeah, that could be. Get out of here, Vertigo, with that. Cindy, look at that flex. That's what I'm talking about right there. Boom. Good to see you, Cindy. Oh, political stuff. Well, it definitely applied to this situation. Well, they always do that, all parties. Yeah, that's true. That's why it's different this time. That's why I'm actually voting. Yeah, I think they might put Hillary Clinton in as the replacement. But we'll save that for Channel 2. Better late than never, Cindy. Yeah, 100% Cheeks. Both sides. They all lie to get where they are. We as citizens just have to hope that we are picking the one that will actually help us. I agree. Yep, exactly. All right, guys, that is all my time. If you guys are part of the replay crew or didn't catch the entire live stream, let me know what you think in the chat. And like I said, everybody who's been helping and all you members and all you people who have been donating to the Cash App, making it possible for me to go out and cover stories and help with these missing people. Thank you so much. And we will be doing a giveaway The first week of August, we'll spin the wheel 3 times. So anybody who's participated with the Cash App or is a member, the morning of that spin will be automatically enrolled, and we'll spin it 3 times. Thank you, Sensei. Now you're talking, Cindy. Now you are talking. And on that note, let's hit them with the...
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.